Let us see April 15 Indian Express newspaper. First article is related to every government, every PM has helped to take India to current heights. Modi inaugurating the Pradhan Mantri Shankaralaya at Teen Murti Estate in New Delhi. Next article is monsoon will be normal this year. IMD forecast. Predicting a normal monsoon this year, IMD in its long range forecast on Thursday has said that rainfall will be normal or above normal in most part of the country except northeast, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir. 99% of long period average, which is 87 centimeter. Normal when it is 96 to 104% long period average. Long period average is defined as average of last 50 years. Till last year, average of the period between 1961 2011 was taken as long period average. This year, in a routine revision that happens every decade, long period average baseline has been changed to 1971 to 2020. With Indian agriculture being primarily rain-fed, southwest monsoon is vital for kharif crops. About 78% of the country's gross cropped area is supported by monsoon rainfall. Next article is India finally on board, but Trincomalee oil firm now waits for economic crisis to lift. 85 decrepit oil tanks in 850 acres of dense jungle and strategic natural harbor. Foliage is so thick that the place is now home to several species of animals and birds. Cutting down the tree needs government permission. Sri Lanka officially announced that it was temporarily suspending the repayment of external debts worth $51 billion. It is now seeking a bailout from IMF and other multilateral organizations. It does not have dollars to repay these debts. Let us see the continuation of the first article, that is related to the government, every government and every PMs has helped in take India to current heights. Modi. That is the article continuation. Let us see that. Perhaps the largest enclosure is on him. There was features on special corner dedicated to Pokhran test and an other to historic Lahore visit. There is mention of Kargil War, Jammu and Kashmir Peace Initiative, formation of 3 new states, rising GDP, disinvestment, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Golden Quadrilateral Road Network. For instance, enclosure of Sastri has a corner crediting him with Green Revolution. The screen says economic situation. India via its PM. That is what let us see. For instance, the enclosure on Sastri had a corner crediting him with Green Revolution. The screen says the economic situation improved under him in 1965, but in other sections on language agitation states that in January 1965, the government of India has issued a circular stating that only Hindi would be used in official communication. DMK leader C.N. Annadurai raised concerns that the step of central government could create discrimination in government jobs. There is, of course, mention of the second agreement of 1966 and his Jai Jawan Jai Kishan slogan. Listed are Indira Gandhi's initiatives including abolition of private purse, nationalization of banks, the Nathula battle, the Pokhran 1 nuclear test and 1969 split in Congress. Emergency finds a detailed portrayal. Next article is, before that, let us see some of the facts. Raju gets fair presence. Screen shows he structured governance around five principal decisions using science and technology to improve the living standard of the poor. Economic reforms through graded wisening of protecting licensing system and gradual privatization. A huge screen announces the end of India's 3 decade of nuclear apartheid and Indo-US civil nuclear deal under Singh. Other initiatives set up of Uday and policy of special economic zones by Singh. There is also mention of Pota repeal law. It scrapped Vajpayee's era anti-terror law. Let's see the next article, that is Trincomalee oil firm. The agreement gives India a strategic footprint on Sri Lanka's eastern coast. with access to China's Bay Harbor, said to be the finest natural harbor in Asia. Um, uh, Oil company signed off on the agreement with Lanka India Oil Corporation on January 18, paving the way for formation of joint venture called Trinco Petroleum Terminal Limited. Um, the 1932 British-built storage located next to the harbour was used by the Allies during Second World War and for some years after, but has been in disuse at least for 6 decades. The tanks are being refurbished for 3 commercial activities: supply of petrol, diesel across the country, to store petroleum products, and to offer bunkering facilities. Next article that we are moving, before that, let us see some of the facts. La Nina is the abnormal cooling of the sea surface temperatures observed over the equatorial Pacific region. It is known to favor Indian monsoon. Abnormal cooling of the sea surface temperature is called La Nina, that is observed over the equatorial Pacific region. It is known to favor the Indian monsoon. Okay. Next article is related to calling out hate. Is the state powerless? Not at all. There are a whole bunch of laws meant to curb hate speech. Indian Penal Code as per section 153A, 295A, 298 criminalizes the promotion of enmity between different groups of peoples on grounds of religion, language, alongside acts that are prejudicial to maintain the communal harmony. Section 125 of the Representation of People's Act deems that any person in connection with the election promoting feeling of enmity and hatred on grounds of religion, caste is punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years and fine or both. Section 505 criminalizes the multiple kinds of speech, including statement with the intention of inducing which are likely to induce fear or alarm to the public, instigating them towards public disorder. While examining the scope of hate speech laws in India, Law Commission in its 267th report published in March 2017 recommended introduction of new provisions within the Penal Code that specifically punish incitement to violence in addition to existing ones. Its lack of political will, blatant inefficiency and biases of administration, and shocking apathy of judiciary that is killing the secular spirit of the constitution. In recent years, hate speech in all its varieties has acquired systematic presence in the media and the internet, from electoral campaigns to everyday life. Abusive speech directed against minority communities, particularly Muslims, and disinformation campaigns on media network have made trolling and fake news significant aspect of public discourse. By desensitizing the citizenry with the constant barrage of anti-minority sentiments, the ethical and moral bonds of our democracy are taking a hit. This epidemic of mediatized hate speech is in fact global phenomena. Next article is center phrase. Notwithstanding the result of ongoing election, France under Emmanuel Macron has become more polarized. Le Pen does not gain the presidency may ensure that Macron becomes the first French presidential incumbent since Jacques Chirac in 2002 to win a second term. His pro-market, pro-European Union center-right flank has fewer takers than before. Domestically, the Gillette Johns are the Yellow Vest protest against income inequality, price rise, tax breaks for the wealthy that rocked France began in 2018, have flagged sporadically ever since. Next article that we are moving into is related to courtesy of credit. Arup Aftop walked away with a Grammy earlier this month, a first for any Pakistani woman, the best global music performance category for the neo-Sufi version of this ghazal she calls Mohabbat in her 2021 album Vulture Prince. It became a moment to cherish for the subcontinent. Next article that we are moving into is related to widening data divide. Before seeing that, let us continue this article in the next video. If you like the video, please do share, like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.